Happy New Year, church family. Monica asked if I would lead worship for this Sunday, and to be quite honest, I feel quite exposed without my team behind me, but do our best. I'd like to start out by reading Isaiah 41:10, thinking about God's hand, how He used it to create us, to lead us, to comfort us, and how those hands were even nailed to the cross. All these things, God's hand. Isaiah 41, starting at 10. Fear not, for I am with you. Don't be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Behold, all those who were incensed against you shall be ashamed and disgraced. They shall be as nothing, and those who strive with you shall perish. You'll look for them, you won't find them. Those who contended with you, those who were at war against you, will be as nothing, as a non-existent thing. For I, the Lord your God, will hold your right hand, saying to you, fear not, I will help you. So this is a song I used to hear on my parents' old phonograph from the Chuckwagon Gang. You know, that's one of my favorites. It's talking about Jesus holding our hand. We're going through a foreign place right now. You know, so many people are battling with depression, and I'm starting to think that maybe that is just normal, because we're living in exile. We're on our way to the promised land. We're not there yet, and we're actually not meant to feel at home or necessarily comfortable where we are right now. But we need the presence of God for this journey. We need the cloud by day, the fire by night. We need His hand to hold us. Blessed Jesus, hold my hand. As I travel through this pilgrim land, there is a friend who walks with me, leads me safely through the sinking sand. It is the Christ of Calvary. This would be my prayer, dear Lord, each day, that I would do the best I can. For I need Thy light to guide We've been watching a series on TV called The Chosen, and they had a really good Christmas special, I thought. And on it, a girl called Mandisa sang a song called Get Used to Different. She takes the place of Mary, how Mary had to get used to that her life was going to be different from everybody else's. Jesus introduced a whole different way of being godly, I suppose, than what people were used to. God says that He doesn't do new things without first telling the prophets. And so I'm wondering if there is a prophet who's going to tell us about a new thing, that we shouldn't long to go back to what we're used to, but that we should take hold of God's hand and go into the unknown, into a different. But we know that wherever we go, He will be there with us. He calls His own sheep by name, and He leads them out. He leads us in paths of righteousness for His name's sake. In shady green pastures, so rich and so sweet, God leads His dear children along, where the water's cool flow bathes the weary one's feet. God leads His dear children along, some through the water and some through the blood, some through fire, but all through His blood, some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. Sometimes on the mount where the sun shines so bright, God leads His dear children along. Sometimes in a valley, in darkest of night, God leads His dear children along. Some through the water and some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through the blood, some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. Though sorrows befall us and Satan oppose, God leads His dear children along. Through grace we can conquer, defeat all our foes. God leads His dear children along. Some through the fire, and some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through the blood, some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. Away from the mire, away from the clay, God leads His dear children along. Away up to glory, eternity's day, God leads His dear children along. Some through the water and some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through His blood, some through great sorrow, but God gives a song in the night season and all the day long. In your night season and all the day long. Exodus 15 verse 6 says, Your right hand, O Lord, so glorious in power, your right hand, O Lord, shatters the enemy. Sometimes I think we are our own worst enemy. This next song we're going to sing together, I trust that you are singing heartily back in your own homes, is Precious Lord, Take My Hand. I sort of wish I hadn't looked up why this song was written, because it makes me cry now when I sing it. But Thomas Dorsey was a black fella, came out very poor circumstances through doing jazz in bars and stuff, and the Lord found him, and he began doing music in churches. And one day when he was leading a choir and people were singing and clapping and making a joyful noise, and his wife was at home extremely pregnant and ready to pop, somebody ran up to him with a notice that his wife had died in childbirth. And there he was with people still singing and clapping around him, and he rushed home, and his child died as well. And he got so angry at God. And he, like you and I would have, just made war against God. And then his friend brought him into a room with a piano, and he said, you just stay in here, maybe God will speak to you. And when he was in there, that's when he wrote this song, Precious Lord, Take My Hand. The peace of God came upon him. And he put his hand back into God's hand instead of shaking his fist. And this is a wailing song, and it's all right to wail if you're a child of God.
Take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I'm worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord. Sometimes I fall, sometimes I'm alone. Friends and ones I love so dear, they're gone, but I'm still here. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, help me stand. I'm tired, I'm weak, I am worn, yes I am. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on.
His hand is reaching out to you today.